Depreciation transactions create an expense that allows the owner of the depreciable assets to recover the cost of the asset purchases due to wear and tear and just general use of the asset. Fixed assets maintain the depreciation details needed to run depreciation transactions. Prior to running your depreciation transaction, you're going to want to verify that the depreciation values are current. Select Setup, Fixed Assets, and Maintain Depreciation. That displays a list of our fixed assets and the depreciation amount currently assigned. You can make any changes here if you need to by just clicking in the grid and making a change. If you make a change, you'll want to click Save. Once you verify the depreciation values are accurate, you'll go to Processes, Periodic, and Depreciation Transactions. We have a list of already posted depreciation transactions. We're going to click Create New and select our company. It automatically updated our transaction date to January 30, 2019 because the frequency assigned to this company is monthly and the last entry done was for December 2018. If you had chosen annual for the frequency, then it would only be updating for one transaction per year. In the transaction number, we could have a numbering sequence that updates that number, or we can just enter what we want for this particular one. There are memo lines and notation available, and the schedule up in the upper right is only if you're using depreciation module. You're going to click OK. That's going to display a grid of all of our fixed assets that have a positive book value and a depreciation amount entered. So if we expand any one of these, we can see what will be adjusted. And in this case, it's accumulated depreciation because that's the preference we selected for depreciation, was to use accumulated depreciation. And it's offsetting with depreciation expense. In this case, there's two lines for depreciation expense because my account distribution has two different transactions in it, so it's dividing it out. And I don't see details yet because it is set to update that later. So any one of these could be expanded to see what is going to get posted, and you can browse through and see if they're of all the things that you are supposed to be depreciating are included. You'll notice in this one we had some ATV assets, an ATV Gator and an ATV Gator snowplow, that are not on the list, and that's because they were purchased in February, so it didn't see a current positive value in the book value, so it left that off of this posting. Let's go ahead and post the January depreciation. That updated that, and we'll create another new one real quick here for February. And okay, and click OK. And now you'll see on this grid that we now have our ATV assets included. And we could go ahead and post those also. If at any time you need to review a posted depreciation transaction, you can highlight and click Review. That brings up the grid again where you could expand any one of those and look at the depreciation that's taken and scroll through. Or if we wanted to delete a depreciation transaction, you can highlight and click Delete. It'll ask you to verify that that's really what you want to do is delete, and you can say yes. And that would remove that depreciation transaction. Or if you have run the depreciation transaction and then you purchased a new asset and you want that included in that depreciation transaction, you can click Recalculate. And you'll have two options: to either reverse the entire transaction and then recalculate it again, or simply add the new items that haven't been depreciated yet into another entry. So we're going to just go ahead and leave the reverse and recalculate. And when you click OK, that again displays the grid, and it would have updated if it saw additional assets in there to include. and then you would just click post again. Don't click cancel because it already reversed the other one. So you want to make sure and click post again. And that would have your depreciation transaction updated again. Once you've done your depreciation transactions, if you want to run a report that shows you the balances of your assets, that can be done under reports. And reports again, and under financial statements, go to account balances and then fixed asset balances. And we're going to run this for January because we posted the January. We deleted February, remember. We're going to click OK. And then we want that company and preview. And that gives you a list of your fixed assets. And the accumulated depreciation represents what's been accumulated this year. And the unending undepreciated balance and ending book balance. And if we also wanted to add a column for the depreciation amount for each asset, we could do that. Go to columns, click the available, and check depreciation detail value. Click selected, and we can put that further up if we want, and then refresh. And now we can see the amounts that are assigned to each one of our depreciation and print that out if we wanted a copy of that. And that is the steps needed to run your depreciation transactions.